Hello everyone, this is Brain Booster Sujata, SST educator. Today we are going to learn one of the point from the rise of nationalism in Europe. Second point in that, the making of nationalism in Europe. So in that you will see that the point is there, liberal nationalism. What did liberal nationalism stand for? It means during the period of 19th and 20th century, not only in the France but in the whole European continent, in the whole European countries. What was the meaning of liberalism? What did the idea of liberalism stood for in the European continent? That is we are going to learn or discuss in this point. So basically we will see that what did liberal nationalism stand for. So in the 19th century, early 19th century, liberalism, what was the meaning of liberalism? So during that period, the word liberalism was taken from the Latin word, and the meaning of Latin word liberalism, it means the word was taken from the Latin word liber. Liber means free. So free, freedom, liberty and liberalism are close to one another. So liberalism basically came from the Latin word liber, and liber means freedom or the free, being free. So though this idea of liberalism was emerged in the European continent, this idea of liberalism was different for everyone. So how it was different from everyone? We will see first of all what was the liberalism for new middle classes. For new middle classes, liberalism stood for freedom for individuals and equality of all before the law. So those were the new middle classes. Who were the new middle classes? They were the businessmen, traders, industrialists, who were newly emerged as a little educated group and a little prosperous group in the European continent. So they were the people of the middle class, belonging to the middle class. So for these people, idea of liberalism means what? Freedom for individual. Freedom from whom? Freedom from autocratic government which was prevailed in the European continent, in the European countries. So they wanted the freedom for the individuals from the aristocratic rulers, aristocratic group. Also wanted the equality of all before the law. Not only freedom from the autocratic group, also wanted the equality before the law for everyone. So it was what? The meaning of liberalism for the middle class people during the 19th century in the Europe. Next, we will see what was the meaning of liberalism politically. Politically, the meaning of liberalism stood for the concept of government by consent. The concept of government by consent means what? The concept of government by consent. But whose consent? The consent of people. It means in the European continent, 19th century, politically, meaning of the liberalism means what? People wanted the government. People wanted the government, but what type of government? Not an autocratic government, not a monarch. They wanted the government formed by the people, for the people or of the people. So it was the concept of government by consent of the people. So it was also the meaning of liberalism means in the 19th century Europe, politically people mean liberalism means what? The concept of government by consent. Next we'll see that the French Revolution. We will see the examples related to liberalism. Lastly, in the class 9th we have also learned the French Revolution. First chapter of the class 9th history, French Revolution. So in that chapter also we have seen that the French people revolted against the autocratic government, against the monarch of the Bourbon dynasty, overthrown the power of the monarch, and they wanted the government by consent of the people. It means in the French Revolution people wanted the liberty, but what type of liberty exactly they wanted? They wanted the end of autocratic government, end of the monarchical rule. Also wanted the abolition of the clerical privileges. In that chapter we have to connect this point with the class 9th French Revolution chapter, because in that chapter we have learned that people of the France revolted against the autocratic rulers, against the monarchs, and not only revolted against their power, also wanted to end up the privileges given to the clergies, given to the nobilities, and so that they launch their revolts against the autocratic government. So they wanted the abolition of the clerical privileges. It was the idea of liberalism for them. Next we will see that they did not want only the end of autocratic government and the abolition of the clerical privileges. They also wanted the representative government. Representative government means what? People of the country, citizens of the country themselves will vote to form the government, and people among them will be representative who will rule the country behalf of the common citizens. So they wanted the representative government, and government will be ruled through the parliament. So this was the concept of liberalism during the period of French Revolution. It means what? In the French Revolution, people basically wanted end of the autocratic government, wanted the abolition of the clerical privileges, also wanted the government through the parliament, representative government they wanted. But yet equality before the law means for the people of the France, equality before the law. In the first point we have seen that they wanted the equality before the law. But equality before the law did not stand for universal suffrage. Means they wanted the representative government, and government should rule or run through the parliament. But for them, liberalism or equality did not stand for universal adult suffrage. Means they did not believe that. Means government should be formed by the government. Government should be formed by the people, but did not believe on universal adult suffrage. Means they did not believe that each and every adult citizen should get the right to vote. So we can also recall again the French Revolution. In the French Revolution we have studied that when the first of all parliament was formed and the constitution was drafted for the France, right to vote was only granted for, to whom? Right to vote was only granted for the propertied men who could pay the 3 days of wages tax to the government. They were granted the right to vote, and who were the higher taxpayers, they were given the right to contest the elections. It means right to vote, right to suffrage was limited to the propertied men. Non-propertied men and women were still considered as inactive or the passive citizens. It means though they believe on the liberalism, though they believe on the representative form of government and government should run a rule through the parliament, they did not believe on universal adult suffrage. Also, we will recall that in the French Revolution, second time during the period of French Revolution, women struggle for their, men and women also struggle for their right to vote. So that time, second time, right to vote was granted only for men, propertied men also and non-propertied men. But right to vote was denied to women. Women were not only denied to right to vote, they were also denied to have a property of their father's property and the husband's property. So they were completely considered as a passive citizens. So it was the period of revolutionary France where people believed on liberalism, believed on equality before the law, but did not believe on universal suffrage. For a short period during the period of Jacobin government in the France, right to vote was given, but only it was given to men. Women were still lagging behind to the men, not given the right to vote. So it was the period where men, propertied men and non-propertied men were also given the right to vote. But when Napoleon Code was set up by the Napoleon in the France, it went back to the restrictions on the suffrage right. All the propertied men were given the right to vote, and non-propertied men, their right to vote was cancelled by the Napoleon. It means though these people believed on the nationalism, believed on the liberalism, believed on the equality before the law, did not believe on the universal suffrage. So throughout the 19th and 20th century, women, non-propertied men organize their oppositions movements. For what? They organize their opposition movements for equal political rights. So you will find out that the meaning of liberalism was quite different for different point of views. For new middle classes, the liberalism was different. Politically, meaning of the liberalism was different. In the French Revolution also, people worked for the liberty, but meaning of liberalism was different for them. And 19th and 20th century, women, non-propertied men also organized their movements for the equal political rights. So what was the meaning of liberalism? We will see it in more detail, but in the next point, next video. Thank you. So what was the meaning of liberalism in the economical sphere? Economically, the meaning of liberalism, it means the freedom of market and abolition of the state imposed restriction on the movements of goods and capital. What was the meaning of freedom of market? It means freedom for the market activities, freedom for the trade activities, freedom for the business activities, freedom for the people who were carrying out the various type of market activity. It was the freedom of market. Why that time there was wasn't there any type of freedom for the market? Actually not. Actually during the 19th century, many of the European countries were following the different type of practices related to trade, related to business, related to market activities. Various type of restrictions were imposed by the government on the trade activities, on the business activities. So during the 19th century, it was the strong demand of the common middle class people. What was the demand of the common middle class people? It was the demand of the common middle class people to get the freedom for the market activity, for the trade, for the business. They also wanted the abolition of the state imposed restrictions. Government had imposed various types of restrictions over the movements of the goods, over the movements of capital, over the movements of business or the business activities. So common people wanted the abolition of restrictions on the movements of goods and capital. If we especially talk about the German states, during the example we'll see German speaking regions in the first 19th century, what type of trading situation was there, what was the situation of trade, business activities. So we'll see that during the first half of the 19th century, it was the period of Napoleon. When it was the period of Napoleon, there were the small principalities of the 39 confederation states. It means German state, German empire was divided into small principalities in the small 39 states. And these 39 states where each one was possessing its own currency, its own weight and its own measurement unit. It means 39 states, small principalities in the German state did not have the uniform currency everywhere, did not have one weight, did not have one measurement unit or the uniform measurement unit. It was different in each of these principalities, in each of these states. Example, we'll see that in the Hamburg to Nuremberg, we'll find out that there were the 11 custom barriers. Custom barriers means what? These are the stations where while crossing the boundaries of the states. On these stations or on these custom barriers, traders have to stop there, have to measure their goods in the unit of that state, and whatever goods they had, have to pay the custom duties to that state. So such a type of 11 custom barriers were there. It means the traders in the first half of the 19th century traveling from Hamburg to Nuremberg have to cross the 11 custom barriers and have to pay the custom duties of 5% each according to the weight of that region, measurement of that region, and it was quite time consuming activity. Created the lot of obstacles to the trade activities, to the business activities, and to the market activities. So you will see that these 39 states had its own currency, own weight, and own measurement unit also. So each region having own system of measurement also, and it was the time consuming work. So created the obstacles for the traders, for the business activities, for the market activities. For example, we'll see that how each region had its own measurement unit. Example, we'll see that an L. L means what? In India, the cloth is measured in the meter or in the centimeter. Same way in the German Confederation state, L is the measurement unit of the cloth which is used to measure the cloth. So we'll find out that what type of difference was there. An L in the Frankfurt was 54 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. Okay. In the mains, 55.1 centimeter was equal to 1 meter. In the Nuremberg, you will find out it was 56.6 centimeter equal to 1 meter, and in the Freiburg it was 53.5 centimeter equal to 1 meter. It means you will find out that there was a lot of variation in the measurement units of these 39 states in the principalities in the German Confederation. According to that, on the 11 barriers, traders had to stop there, had to measure their clothes, their goods in that particular units. Means in the Frankfurt, in the Mainz, in the Nuremberg, in the Freiburg, differently they were measured, and on each unit 5% of the custom duties were imposed. So on every custom barrier, stopping there or wetting there, measuring their clothes, measuring their goods, then paying the taxes, it was a very time consuming activity for the traders, which created the obstacle to the trade activities and created the obstacle for the economic exchange in the market, created the obstacle to the growth of commercial classes. If trade did not develop, if economical activities did not develop, how could middle class businessmen, middle class traders could develop? So it created the development for these people, it created the obstacle for their development also. For example, in 1834, we'll see that to reduce all these crises for the traders, for the businessmen, what government did that time? So as per the demand of the middle class common people who were carrying out the trade, business activities, market activities, they strongly demanded for the reduction of these all state imposed restrictions of the movements of the goods and capitals were also demanded by the common people. They demanded freedom of the market, and so that in 1834 custom union was formed by the Prussia. Custom union means what? It was one of the association, organization, or the group of people who revised all these measurement and unit and custom barrier system, and from the brought the equality in this all system, from the uniformity. So this custom union was formed by the Prussia, and later it was joined by the German states. Especially this custom union was called as a Zollverein, means in the Russian language it was called, German language it was called as a Zollverein. Zollverein, it means what? It was the custom union. Zollverein was custom union which was formed in 1834, and for that initiatives were taken by Prussia. Later it was joined by the German states. So what this Zollverein or the custom union work to carry out the easiness in the trade activity, in the market activity, in the businesses. So this custom union abolished the tariff barriers, means what were their 11 custom barriers, and on every barrier traders had to stop. They have to measure their clothes, how to pay their taxes as well. So it was reduced by the custom union. This system was abolished, means tariff barriers were abolished. It reduced kiti pramanam, in what manner, in how much number it were reduced. They were reduced from reduce the number of currency over 30 to 2. It means in every state traders had to pay the taxes in the currency of that particular state. So every state having its own currency, traders have to carry such a type of currency which could be used there. So all these systems were time consuming, and so that custom union reduced the number of currency also. It means over the German principalities, over the German regions, confederation states of 39, 30 different type of currencies were used. Now custom union cancelled all those currencies, and only two types of currencies were prevailing in the Germany. So it was one of the revolutionary step taken by the custom union. Second, they also created the railway network. Railway network boost up the business activities, trade activities, market activities, and created the lot of scope for the movements of goods and capital from one country to another country, one continent to another continent. When these movements or when these events took place, when the markets were integrated, common people were integrated because of the integration of the market, integration of the business, integration of the trade. It also developed the feeling of nationalism. And why we are again lastly talking about the nationalism? Because our main chapter is that the making of nationalism in Europe and liberal nationalism. So what was the meaning of liberal nationalism for every classes of the European countries, for every group of the people in the European countries? So economically all these were the ideas of nationalism or the liberalism for the common people. So when these all events took place, people were united by the purpose of the trade, by the business, by the business activities, and it did not only brought the people together, also developed the idea of nationalism among the people, which further helped to the developing nationalism in Europe. Thank you.